Welcome, everybody, to the Dad's Doomsday Guide. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Tuesday. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. Mine was pretty fun. I actually got out of the house for a change. I went to the Screamfest Film Festival in LA here. I dragged my wife with me and our newborn. We watched horror movies. I had a horror short going, so we checked that out. It was a fun time. It was actually in a drive-in, and they put a screen on the side of a theater that normally isn't a drive-in. So the details were, little, not that hot. But I think it was cool that they did that. So we still had the festival, and I was able to see the movie on a larger screen. The screen was probably like, 1/4 the size of a real one, but it was still big. Don't get me wrong, still big. And today on the show, we are going to be reading the winner of the Dad's Storytime contest. Jeremy, congratulations, bud. You got a survival bag coming your way. He gave us permission to read his story too, so we're good there. Oh, shouldn't do that. Isn't that like a racist symbol now? Whoops. Sorry, guys. When I grew up, I don't know everybody else out there, I guess we'll discuss it now. This either meant ASS hole, you're an asshole, or it meant, A-OK, like for my dad probably. And then we played the game where you put it on your lap, and if you poked your finger through the hole, he could punch you. That's where I knew it. I didn't realize it. Now it's apparently a racist white supremacist symbol. So sorry about that. So remember, guys, hit us up, SCO24, 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 Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow, find out what we're doing, all that good stuff. And podcast at dadsdoomsdayguide.com, podcast at dadsdoomsdayguide.com. Email us with questions, comments, concerns, stories, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to see covered, minor, small, funny, whatever. We got you. Let's get into some Doomsday news. First story of the day, assassin animals, guys. Okay, so apparently this has been going on since like the 1970s, Cold War stuff. And they've been using, carrier pigeons for a long time. I think terrorists even did that when I was reading these articles, and getting messages to and fro and trying to duck our intelligence gathering capabilities. Also, apparently late last month, Russia sent some military dolphins to Syria, and that's raised some eyebrows and like, oh, is this still happening? But yeah, it is, because we're still doing it too, still studying it. Typically, dolphins are trained to identify mines and enemy infiltrators. And in the Cold War, like I mentioned, it was used, and this was actually really interesting regarding this old Soviet era Ruskies. In spring of 2000, the BBC identified a Russian man who had been tasked with training a pack of dolphins to target combat swimmers and divers with harpoons strapped to their backs. They were meant to capture, carry mines to enemy ships, and suicide attacks. So they had this down. Dolphins could reportedly distinguish between Soviet and foreign subs by the sound of their propellers. That's some smart shit. The funding ran out, and apparently they sold these dolphins to Iran. So good choice. As I mentioned, the U.S. is doing it. It was documented in the early days of the War on Terror that we had been training dolphins to shoot possible terrorists targeting U.S. vessels. That's crazy. And I guess it was a little concerning because when the Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana, they thought some of these dolphins got out. So now you have roaming assassin dolphins in what is that, the Gulf of Mexico? Maybe they've gotten their way around the world now. Also, the Department of Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, sounds a lot like Dharma. Was it Dharma from Lost? Yeah, shady. The New Scientist reported in 2016 that the agency was working to remotely control sharks via implanted electrodes in their brain, thus taking advantage of their ability to monitor underwater crafts and pursue chemical trails. So now you have killer sharks with Elon Musk implants. That's good. But the point of all this, me going down this road, was the fact that robotics and artificial intelligence, as that advances, they're looking at this not being real animals, because right now the sonar capabilities of some of these, I think it's the bottlenose dolphin or some other ones, that are just really crazy, remarkable in terms of what our technology can do and what animals can still outperform. But as our technology increases, we're going to see actually robotic animals, artificial intelligent animals that are fake, are robotic, that have all these new technologies in them, but also appear like real animals. So you won't be able to really tell the difference. And suddenly you have what's outside. Cockroaches. I hate cockroaches. I would put a camera on a cockroach, killing you in your sleep. They crawl up to you and just stick a needle in you and you're dead. So we have that to look forward to for AI. Thanks, guys. Way to advance the needle. Trump is better. That's my next little blurb. Yeah, I know maybe some of you are upset, maybe some of you are happy, and the Taliban endorsed him apparently. Neither here nor there. But whether you like him or not, obviously I don't really care. But he has some funny memes floating around, and one of them reads his picture, and then the doctor said they've never seen a body that killed the coronavirus like my body. They tested my DNA, and it wasn't DNA. It was USA. I thought it was good. That was funny. Speaking of Trump to take good, strong look at UFOs. So if you live in a cave, you don't know what's going on with UFOs, or you haven't been listening to our show, but obviously the Tic Tac video, Go Fast, and some other ones have come out with the Navy going, holy crap, those aircraft aren't ours. They're outperforming ours. It's really wild, really cool. Really fascinating for us UFO buffs who, there's a lot of crazies out there, and I think it's really hard to sift through all the mud, but actually having the Pentagon and some really high level Air Force pilots come out and testify to this, Fravor, I think is his name, that we've discussed before, obviously lends credence to it. But just to recap, in July, the New York Times reported that a small group of government officials, including Harry Reid, that's the senator was a senator from Nevada, and scientists believe objects of undetermined origin have crashed to Earth and have been retrieved. The publication cited Eric W. Davis, an astrophysicist who worked as a subcontractor and a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program. Davis, who now works for the defense contractor Aerospace Corporation, said he gave briefings on the recovery of unexplained objects to staff members of the Senate Armed Services Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee on October 21st and 23rd of 2019. But the reason I mentioned that is obviously they're taking it more serious now. They're kind of concerned that there's no central communication between all these agencies looking at it, so they don't really know. I think they want to know if it is something like China or Russia, but I just don't think if someone had that tech already, why wouldn't they invade us? Why wouldn't they just wipe us out? So it's a little strange. And there's a lot of stuff talking about the ocean, hiding things in the ocean. Who knows? But I just thought it would be, even if Trump took it serious, which I don't think he is, the odds of someone being honest with him, there's so much infighting in the government and people hating him, and who's going to be really honest, and if they are honest and he does have the information, is he really going to share it with us? No, probably not. I don't know. I'm just really fascinated with between 2014, 2015, when all these Go Fast, the Tic Tac video, and all these other things happened, what's happened in the last 5 years? I'm kind of curious. Has this stuff continued to happen? Do we have more videos? Did it just stop? So somebody figure that out. Send some videos to me. Podcast at dadsdoomsdayguy.com. Apparently, Russia has launched a successful hypersonic missile. There was a test. It wasn't at anyone. Thank you very much. And luckily, or happily, this was done on Putin's 68th birthday. Happy birthday, bud. And what a heck of a present, hypersonic missiles being launched on your birthday. It's like fireworks. Apparently, the target hit something, or the missile hit a target 280 miles away in about 4.5 minutes. That's crazy. Reaching hypersonic speeds of more than Mach 8. So a Mach is a speed of sound, if you don't know. We actually met Chuck Yeager, who's the first person to break the speed of sound. That was pretty cool when we were young. We actually have a picture. I should post it. The 3M-22 Zircon is a scramjet-powered maneuvering anti-ship hypersonic cruise missile. The launch comes as tensions, obviously, between Russia and U.S., and apparently the last nuclear arms pact that we have is expiring in February, so that's good. We have, who really listens to that stuff anyway? You don't think people are building stuff and doing stuff behind? All these pacts are kind of hilarious. But, hopefully we have the hypersonic missiles too, so then we can scare each other into not annihilating each other, and then we cancel each other out. So that's awesome. God, I love humanity. But really, I agree that we just talked about this last time. Is like, how are you going to stop spending money on the military when this kind of stuff is continuing to happen? Really, you're just not going to develop hypersonic missiles, and so Russia can just drill you at any moment and out. Because the thing with hypersonic missiles is they can just buzz by your anti-missile defense systems, unless you're going to create, some kind of new system. Maybe they have that. I'd have to look into it. And last but not least, consciousness may exist in the absence of matter. And so the article starts just basically, I recommend you guys reading it. And then there's another paper that's based off of that I want to look at. I haven't had a chance yet. But it starts off with, it is possible that consciousness may exist by itself, even in the absence of matter, just like gravitational waves. This was suggested by Stanford University's Russian-American theoretical physicist Andrei Lindy in Life, Universe, Consciousness about the central mystery of our time. Will Will it not turn out with the further development of science that the study of the universe and the study of consciousness will be inseparably linked, and that ultimate progress in one will be impossible without progress in the other? The universe and the observer exist as a pair. I cannot imagine a consistent theory of the universe that ignores consciousness, Lindy concluded. Now, I have no idea of his personal beliefs, what he believes in, like a higher power made us an alien life form, consciousness, kind of like, I think it was Einstein who had this belief that the universe kind of was an intelligent thing. It wasn't like a personal thing. Like there wasn't like an afterlife, but it was like a brain or like a network. And we all kind of existed within that in harmony. I'm really ad-libbing here, so I don't know if that exactly fits that description, but it was almost like the universe is like a brain in and of itself, and we kind of are just part of that. And so I think that's what they're talking about here, is how consciousness could permeate the universe, exist outside of matter, and we'll discover that in the future. But I could be horribly wrong. But all the same, read the article. It's awesome. I'll probably put a link to it because I thought it was fascinating to have people thinking outside the box now, because there is that materialist physics where it's just like we're only believing in things we can like measure right now. And so I think it's definitely worth the exploration of your mind if you haven't really kind of dived into this yet. It's pretty fascinating. All right. That's your Doomsday news.
We have been wizened.
Moving on to Dad story time. So I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you with a little story that my dad had and told to me when I was younger, and something that happened to him that was pretty scary, pretty dangerous. And it gives perspective outside of the literal interpretation of, him having to deal with this, but also kind of a good reminder of us, in various situations in our lives, when to walk away, when to look to do something else, what's important. So let's pull up the time. And then after this, we will get to Jeremy's story, the winner of the Dad Storytime contest. Let's pull up my timer. Remember the rules, 3 minutes or less. Ready to get it? Sip of my tea. All right, let's start the clock. 3 minutes, here we go. So my dad used to work for Lucky Security, and at the time, it was kind of more of a robust profession. They gave him a gun, gave him a car, and they were expected to stop people like no matter what. I mean, they were getting in fights, brawls. His buddy got stabbed with a screwdriver. It was really crazy. There was like shootouts, machetes swung at their faces. Like it was really gnarly. And my dad has shoeboxes full of people they caught in fights they were in. Like it's really crazy. But this one particular fight he was in was extra scary and actually got him out of doing this job. And the whole point of doing this job to begin with was to become a cop and get kind of this experience, I think, that would make his application a little bit more desirable. So he was working at the store, really rough area. A man and a woman shoplifted. I think it was a bunch of cigarettes and liquor. And they got out. My dad went to stop him, chased him, got on the sidewalk. The woman had a knife, was trying to cut my dad with it. The dude was fighting. She ended up bloody. My dad's, obviously not here, so it's been a while since I've heard the story. I don't remember exactly how, but she was bleeding a little bit. It was getting on my dad already. They ended up on the ground in a tussle. She was trying to get him with a knife, but he knocked it away. And then she tried to turn and bite him. He grabbed her hair and he slammed it into the pavement. Now, for those people out there who are upset that my dad grabbed a woman's hair and slammed her face in the pavement, well, I'm sorry. She was trying to bite him and she tried to stab him. So, hey, I figure it's self-defense. And she started really bleeding at that point, blood all over my dad. They ended up getting the cops to come, arrested them. He went home, cleaned up. But the scary part was that he got a call and she had tested positive for HIV. So that obviously was a huge, scary moment for my dad. He had to go get tested. A lot of other things followed. Obviously, it turned out he didn't have it, didn't catch it. But that prompted him to, my mom was talking to him, is like, this is crazy. This is too dangerous. And this was like a culmination of just like wild fights and stories. And so my dad said, yeah, okay, I'm done. And at the time, I think my brother had been born. And so the point of that story, as my times ticks down, is obviously in that situation, it's a very literal interpretation. Your life's in danger. It's a very threatening, dangerous job. Don't do it. Realize what's important, family and all that. But it also could be time. If something's consuming all your time, it's outweighing the benefits of doing the job. Even if, my dad lost that and the police jobs wouldn't hire him off of that, for whatever reason, it still was a determination my dad made, like it's not worth it anymore. And I feel like as I get older, you realize time is the most valuable thing. Relationships are the most valuable thing. And if things can impede that, whether it's your physical safety or it's your mental well-being, if you start feeling that, like the walls are closing in on you, I think it's time to step back and reevaluate what you're doing with your life, what your goals are, and try not to get stuck in that situation where you feel like there's no way out, because there is a way out, especially when your safety or your health is involved. So that's my little wisdom. And timer's off. Sweet. All right. So moving on, Jeremy, it's time to read your story, bud. I hope you're listening. Let me get a sip of tea. All right, here we go. I'm going to read this baby, and I'm going to try to read it clearly, without slurring, in a good narrator voice. So here we go. Start the clock, 3 minutes. Hi. My story starts with a friend's phone call. Let's call him Don. Don was panicked. He was out of breath and couldn't form sentences. I told him to slow down. I asked him what the hell was wrong. Don blurted out, I just lost $5,000. Doing what? I asked him. The IRS. How do you lose $5,000 to the IRS? I asked. Inside, I thought the phone call might be tapped, so I had to keep my answers generic and unaggressive. Is that a word? I don't know. He told me they left a message on his phone and that he was being investigated for a tax evasion, and to call them back immediately or his accounts would be frozen and he will be arrested. He frantically called them back, asking how this happened and what he should do to fix the situation. Get this. They told him to go to Target and purchase $5,000 worth of gift cards. Gift cards. Did I just say he said gift cards? And call us back with the numbers so we can obtain payment for the tax evasion. I immediately said, what the F, Don? You didn't do that, did you? It was a stupid question. Of course he did. He's on the phone hyperventilating. He said, I did, but now it seems a little weird that they wanted me to go to a Target in the first place. I said, you think, Don? It's a scam. You just got scammed. He yelled back, I know I got scammed. And I said, how could you be so stupid? Did you tell Mom? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I lied through my teeth earlier. Don is in fact my younger brother. But before you think he's young enough to make this kind of mistake, he does have $5,000 in his account, and it's not from Mommy and Daddy. I subsequently told him to call the police and make a report, but odds are you'll never see that money again. As to my knowledge, gift cards operate like cash. Once they're stolen, goodbye money, and you could always try calling Target. My lesson to the Dad's Doomsday Guide listener is to not act like my brother, who apparently embodies the soul of a 90-year-old grandma who is easily scammed by nefarious entities. Like those people who pose as doctors in Africa starting a new clinic to save dying children, but they just need a few bucks out of your checking account. Anyone asking for outlandish payments, personal information, or individuals promising something that is obviously too good to be true, i.e. free money, should be met with a serious dose of skepticism. But I worry, and I think it should be something the Dad's Doomsday Guide covers, is deepfake technology and how these scams will undoubtedly become freakishly authentic in the near future as tech advances. It's a scary world out there, and I hope there are good people working on tech that can help thwart, ooh, I like that, these crazy advances as they materialize. Thanks, guys. P.S. Go easy on my brother. Oh, 20 seconds left. Let's stop the clock. So thanks, Jeremy. So that was the winner of Dad's Story Time. And it's actually, if you guys don't believe it, it really is a thing. This happens all the time. I don't know if you guys have been hit up by the IRS or people claiming to be the IRS. There's actually some funny videos, I think on YouTube or Facebook, where a woman answers the phone and just messes with them the whole time, trying to like give them money, but she can't figure it out. And so they're pissing them off. It's really funny. But it happens. Most of the time when I get called, it's like somebody with like can't even speak English who's trying to get money and pretending to be the IRS, or it's people, or it's like an automated message that it's so fragmented and messed up. It's like, who made this? And if you Google, I actually, out of curiosity, I went to Target to see if they would refund any of this information or any of the cash. And I'm not really sure. It was kind of unclear. You probably have to call them. And maybe, obviously, when you give them the numbers to the cards, the money's going to be gone. So I guess it'd be up to Target whether or not they want to be nice and like, hey, here's your $5,000 back. But I don't know. It's not very smart. But one of the first things on the website is the scamming is this situation. It's the IRS. If they get called wanting you to get Target gift cards, like why would the IRS want Target gift cards? Like they could take money out of your account probably. I'm not sure why they would want Target gift cards. But hey, thanks for the honesty and admitting that happened. It's a good learning experience. Hopefully he's not totally demoralized. At $5,000, that's a lot of money. But you still see it across everything else too. It's not just this. It's like on for like crypto, Bitcoin stuff. You'll see these scams that come on and be like, hey, well, if you send us 1 Bitcoin, we'll send you 2 Bitcoin. We'll double basically what you send us. And it can be Ethereum, it could be whatever. But most of the time it's Bitcoin because people want that. And people will do it. People just, I don't understand how people think they get free money. I think the crypto thing's a little weird because I still think people don't view that as money. Like if someone were to go, hey, if you send me $100, I'll send you $200. It's like it's cash. It's a little different in our psyches because we've been dealing with money our whole lives, hopefully. And when it's like a digital asset like crypto, it's like somehow this is like, oh, someone's being nice, some tech wizard, It's wild. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's your dad's story time. That's the Dad's Doomsday Guide. Remember, hit us up, social media, SCO24, Twitter, Instagram, and also email us, podcast@dadsdoomsdayguide.com, podcast@dadsdoomsdayguide.com if you want to see any subjects covered, anything discussed at all, feedback, guys. And if you can, hit us up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us a review. It helps out, get the word out. Thanks, guys. Remember, stay sexy, stay safe. Catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
You've been listening to the Dad's Doomsday Guide.
So enlightening. I loved it.
Get more episodes and videos at themadmachinists.com.
Superb.